What's going on, y'all? Jordan, latest episode of Lightning Latest. Really excited for this one. Obviously, 4-0 in the preseason, baby. 4-0. You'd love to see it. Preseason game 5 coming up. So that's what's tonight, right? 3-game set, starting with the Panthers. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more. And then we're also going to talk about a couple other things. Maybe some awards for Coop and a possible top line in 2 years. So a couple what ifs today. It'll be fun. We're obviously going to start with the 5th preseason game. We're playing the Panthers for the next 3 games. So we're playing them tonight in Orlando, which is actually where I live. And then we're playing them also on the 2nd and the 4th as well. So we're going to talk about them a couple different times this week. But, that's all right. Because that's the team we're going to have to go through. Right? That's the team we're going to have to go through in order to get to that next level. And seeing how we stack up against them in these next 3 games is going to be pretty important, because we need to know if we're ready to truly compete for a Stanley Cup again. Now, the first game is going to be in Orlando. So tonight's game's in Orlando. Then we're doing one in Tampa and then one down at Sunrise to complete the 3-game set. So Andrei Vasilevsky hasn't been seen all preseason. He hasn't been seen in camp. He hasn't been in preseason. Coop so far said there's nothing really too worried about, but I think we need to see him soon. Hopefully we see him tonight. I'm not sure if we will. I think we need to, but who knows? So far, we haven't heard anything about it. The game is being played at the Kia Center, which is where the Orlando Magic play. Also, the Bolts, each CL affiliate, the Orlando Solar Brothers, play there as well at times. So, another big question is, in addition to Vasi's, how many starters are we going to see tonight? Over the last couple of games this past weekend, we saw the majority of the starting lineup play. Granted, they split. It wasn't all of them in the Predators game or all of them in the Hurricanes game, but they pretty much everyone outside of Vasi and I believe Pontus Holmberg saw time in these games. So that's good, because they need at least some game time to start getting ready for the Senators matchup in a couple weeks to start the season. If Holmberg can't go again, if he's not going to be playing again, then there's a good chance that Goncalves is going to get additional time. Jacob Pelletier, Connor Geeky, some of those other guys that are really trying to make a 3rd and 4th line impact, I think they're going to have some time to really shine, especially if Holmberg doesn't play. So, if he doesn't play, then, we're going to be seeing a lot more of those guys. And we've already seen all 3 of them contribute in different ways throughout the preseason. Gage Goncalves especially, he's been really starting to heat up. So, hopefully he continues that form this year. Because remember, right, he signed that bridge deal, that 2-year, $1.2 million a year deal. We need to see if he's worth it after that. So, it's important. The lines are looking more and more set. I think we're looking... The first and second lines are almost pretty much done. Really need to see who locks in spots on those last couple. I think Goncalves will be a part of it. Nick Paul, though, remember, is going to be on the IR. Sorry. Yeah, he's on the injury reserve. So, he's going to be out for a little bit. And there's going to be room for somebody else to step up. The Panthers are probably going to play a lot of their crowds. I'll talk about the crowd in a second. They're going to play a lot of their starters, if not all of them. At least the ones that can't play. As we know, Barkov just went down with torn ACL. He's probably out for the whole year, 6 to 9 months at least. So, kind of sucks, even if it's a rival center that gets a blow at that. But he won't be playing for them, unfortunately. So, other than that, the Panthers will probably have the majority of those starters out there. I'm interested to see how the game in Orlando here unfolds, because there's just so much that could happen still. And I mean, granted, it's only preseason, but I would love it if the Bolts took the Panthers in all 3 of these games, so we ended the preseason 7-0. But we'll see. I'm really excited to watch the 2 teams take the ice tonight, because it'll be a kind of a at least decent barometer to see where we're at, as opposed to where the Panthers are. But the man getting us there, of course, is Coop, right? And, we were talking about these awards lately and who's going to win who's got shot to win what. I'm surprised that Cooper has never won the Jack Adams. I can't believe it. I was, and he's been a finalist twice. 2013, 2014, and 2018, 2019. He won the USHL Coach of the Year in 2009, 2010, and the NHL Coach of the Year 2 times. He's been here a long time, since March 2013. He's been the head coach, so 12 and a half years now. And 2 former assistants of his, Derek Lalonde, remember he got hired by the Red Wings to be their head coach. He just got fired, so he's not there anymore. But off this past year's staff, Jeff Blaisdell was hired, and he was a former Red Wings head coach. He was there for 7 years, and then he got fired. I believe Lalonde was his replacement. Blaisdell's been on our staff. Now the Chicago Blackhawks have hired him to be their new head coach to work with Bedard. So, he's not above allowing his assistants to take that next step and really grow and, try to be the best they can. The cool thing is, though, is that the majority of this staff is a veteran staff that's worked with Coop for quite a while now. Jeff Halpern's been there a long time. France John has been there for 16 years now, I believe. The goaltender coach, sorry. And then Dan Hanote is a new pickup as well. So, just interested to see if Coop has a shot. Because if we make a run towards the President's Cup, we win that. Let's say we make a deep cup run, and we get deeper than the Panthers. I won't say we're going to win. I think we have a good shot this year, but we'll see what happens. So, if those things happen, will Coop have a shot at the Adams? I think he will. I think it's entirely possible because he's long overdue. Will it happen? Who knows? We still got a couple weeks, a few more days until the regular season starts. We got a long regular season ahead of us, 82 games. So anything's possible. Do I think he's got a shot? Heck yeah, I do. It would be great to see him win it. So we'll see if he can, because let's say the Bolts fall a little short and need to do some retooling next summer. Imagine that line: Guentzel, Kucherov, McDavid. We all know Connor McDavid's going to be a free agent next summer. Right now, he's not. He's scheduled to be an unrestricted free agent right now. Pretty good timing for multiple reasons. Number one, in case y'all haven't noticed or been listening, the cap is going to explode starting next year. It's going to keep going up and up and up. It's projected to be $108 million by Spotrac. So, it is possible that the Bolts could sign somebody like a Connor McDavid. Now, remember a few days ago in our dream offseason, I said they should sign Kirill Kaprizov. I would love Connor McDavid, so you would not hear me complain about that at all. Because, obviously McDavid, he's the best player in the world. He'd automatically be our first center. But then that means we're putting Point on line 2 and Sorelli on line 3. And then maybe Nick Paul on line 4. That's kind of ridiculous when fully healthy, if you think about it. Our goal, remember? I'm trying to build the depth in the office, trying to get more scoring bunch, trying to bring in more players that are going to be here a while. Connor McDavid would be here for a while if we signed him. He's probably going to reset the market with the highest AAV in history next summer. At the moment, I was reported Kirill Kaprizov was offered $16 million a year from the Wild, but he does not want to stay with them, so he did not accept it. I don't know. I'll have to dig further deeper into that and let y'all know, but I believe that was a report that came out recently. Would the Bolts be able to afford him? Probably. They're looking at almost $30 million in cap space, and it's just possible, depending on who they re-sign first. Remember we talked about them re-signing Bjorkstrand and re-signing McDonough and Moser. It's not going to be cheap to re-sign those players if we do. So it could limit our ability to chase someone like McDavid and have him be our number one center. That being said, though, oh man, just imagine. Opposing defenses would have nightmares, especially about a Guentzel, McDavid, Kuch line, or possibly a Hagel, McDavid, Kuch line. Hagel scored on Friday. So, oh man, it would just be wild, because then you'd have Point on a second line with Bjorkstrand, and let's say Bjorkstrand and Hagel, or Bjorkstrand and Guentzel. Oh man, just stop it. It would just be so good. It'd be so much fun to think about. Do I think we have a shot? Possibly. It all depends on how his contract talks go with Edmonton. They're trying to re-sign him, but he's not quite there yet. So we will pivot for today's what if to someone we can pick up right now, though, and that is going to be Nikolai Kovalenko. So, 25-year-old split his rookie season last year between Avalanche and Sharks. By that point, though, he was already slated to be a free agent. So, he played better with San Jose. 29 games with the Sharks, he scored 12 points, three goals, 9 assists, with a plus-minus a -2. His time on ice was a little bit more than what it was with the Avalanche. And in San Jose, he was on the ice for 12 minutes and 39 seconds roughly per game. With the Avalanche, it was 12 minutes even. So he played there for 28 games, notched 8 points. Not bad, 4 goals and 4 assists. Plus-minus was worse there with -7. So, he's obviously a third or fourth line guy at the moment. Definitely would serve a depth role, possibly on the fourth line. At the moment, though, he'd have to beat out players like Holmberg and Pelletier. Holmberg's been hurt, so maybe that won't be as hard. But Pelletier's been in there each and every day, grinding and trying to clinch his spot on this roster. So it might be a bit tough. He also played more on the right wing, so that would be competing with Geekie or Goncalves with spots. And here's the thing: if the Bolts had to pick which right winger to let go out of the 4 starters they currently have, Cooch, Bjorkstrand, Goncalves, and Geekie, they would probably let go of Bjorkstrand. Simply put, because really he's the most expendable of the 4. So would Kovalenko be better than a Bjorkstrand? I don't know at the moment. At the moment, I don't believe so, but anything is possible because, we're only a few weeks away. A few days, not a few weeks. We're a few days away from the start. So would adding a young player like him limit the exposure that players like Geekie and Goncalves, other possible guys like Sam O'Reilly and Ethan Ziata would get? Yes. So the question is, would you do it on a 1-year deal or something longer that you can get the AAV now? It's tough. It's tough to know exactly what the Bolts would do in that situation. But Kovalenko at the moment would be a potential upgrade and possibly something worth looking into, especially if it's the right kind of deal. So tomorrow we're going to review preseason Game 5. We're going to recap it. First game against the Panthers here in Orlando. We got some other stuff going. Of course, we're going to cap off with the what if as well. But I'm really excited to show and share tomorrow's show with you guys. This is Jordan Llanes signing off. I'll see you tomorrow.